Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with today's guest, but as always, guess what? We're going to visit with our sponsors. Now, these are companies that I used. They are companies that you should be using. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout-outs, then listen to our interview, and then go and visit these sponsors because you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables and Video Boards. Go to their website. You can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, I made sure our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just love the tools on the Huddle platform. Go to huddle.com, join the 100 million users, and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We want to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every day. Scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Their eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com. They do all of those things and more, and they do it better and faster. That's homecampus.com. We want to thank Beacon Creative and Wall of Fame. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative takes it to a new level. They're a content creation platform. They're going to take your data, your stories, your student athletes, and come up with compelling narratives that you can then upload on your social media platforms. It's a tremendous combo, and I want you to reach out to John Townsend. You can email him at John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Check them out. We want to say thanks to Hometown. Hometown continues to be a leader with their suite of solutions, things like digital ticketing. They're still the #1 digital ticketing provider, but how about fee-free fundraising? Athletic website construction. The list just goes on and on. Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, or a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. That's hometown.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. Let's also say thank you to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team turn you into a social media marketing guru. Your school, your athletic department is doing great things, and Gipper's going to help you share it with your community, with your state, and beyond. Access thousands of professionally themed templates that are in your colors, your logos, and your brands. Create, share, and schedule social media content for your athletes, for your teams, for the entire program. Go to Gipper.com to find out all the things that they can do. That's Gipper.com. We want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. And while they were earning their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Booster Hub. Booster Hub is the #1 software program for booster clubs. You know, you need boosters that can deliver results, not create headaches. And a weak system, along with volunteer turnover, which we know happens, can leave your program vulnerable. But Booster Hub takes care of all that. Sponsorship payments, meal fees, concession sales, all of this is going to flow through their secure system. Booster Hub also handles communication, volunteer scheduling, online spiritware sales, and all that allows your boosters to give you more support as fans. And isn't that what you want? Check out boosterhub.com Give your boosters the platform they truly deserve and need to support you and your athletes. Boosterhub.com. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys. You know, at my school, we use surveys for everything, for student athletes, for coaches, even for parents. And the data that would come back on these surveys, almost always over the top positive. And it'll be the same for you. And having all of that supportive data is incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, sometimes your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going up to New Jersey today, and our guest is Sjocquelyn Winstead. She is the Director of Athletics and Activities at Columbia High School, and that's in Maplewood, New Jersey. Sjocquelyn and I connected at the recent NADC conference in Tampa. She was taking LTC 701, one of the middle school classes in the curriculum. Had a chance to talk with her and just thought she'd be a great guest, and we're excited to have her. Sjocquelyn Winstead, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thank you, Jake, for having me.
Okay. Well, we've had this on the books for a while. I'm glad we could get it in. For our listeners, we're recording this on January 22nd, so it's going to be pretty timely when you hear it. Sjocquelyn, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick bio, where you were born, where you grew up. Go ahead and take us up through your own college days, and then we'll take a break. But what's the Sjocquelyn Winstead origin story?
Got it. Well, I was born in Newark, New Jersey. I grew up in Hillside, New Jersey. I attended the elementary schools in Hillside. I graduated from Hillside High School. As a student at Hillside High School, I was involved in sports. I played girls basketball 4 years. I participated on the softball team. I participated on the cross country team, along with a soccer team. I was the girls basketball captain during my time at at Hillside High School. Um, in addition to that, I was super involved in, so I was class president for 4 years. I was a National Honor Society student. I was vice president of the National Honor Society. I was student representative for the Board of Education. So I had a pretty balanced life where I was involved in clubs, student government, and sports. My passion overall in sports was basketball. I consider myself the coach on the floor. We won our conference championship, which was an exciting time for our school because during that time, I graduated in 2005. Our girls team won the conference championship. Our boys team won the conference championship, and along with our cheerleaders. So it was just a great experience. For my family, I am the first generation, first person in my family to graduate from college. I'm the oldest of daughter. My great grandmother, I had the chance to uh, meet her, hear a lot of stories. She came from South Carolina to New Jersey, and she resided in Newark. She died at 104. So there was a number of stories that I heard from her. So I come from a legacy of strong women. My mother was and father were super supportive throughout my high school experience. You know, me being the first born child, the oldest child, first generation student. You know, I attended Rutgers University. I got a degree in history and Africana studies. And during that time, I was a student manager for the Hall of Fame coach C. Vivian Stringer. I had the chance to travel around the country and be on the sidelines during a game where we played in Cleveland, Ohio against Tennessee. We came second in the NCAA championship game. But that year, I was awarded student manager. That was a student manager of the year, 2007. So my experience on a collegiate level as a student manager really helped me understand, that D1 experience as a student athlete. Although I didn't play on the court, I made sure the athletes was, had their
Right.
water ready, that towel ready, practice was ready, prepared with the proper equipment. And not only did I have the chance to be a student manager, but I believe in the balance of both worlds. So I traveled abroad. I studied abroad in South Africa. I had the chance to do a deep dive in my thesis, which is studying the Black consciousness movement, comparing it to the Black Power movement. Um, I studied at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and that's the hometown of Shaka Zulu. So in that time, I was able to balance academics and athletics. So I believe in a student athlete. My parents really supported the notion of you're a student first, you're an athlete second. So I was able to bring up everything I learned in my elementary, high school years and apply it in my college life. And I just had a great time in college. I was a Ronald E. McNair Scholar. So I did a deep dive on the study of Steve Biko. I loved Rutgers University, and then it didn't stop there. I went on to pursue my master's degree, again, being the first in my family to get a master's degree in educational leadership at Montclair State University. And during that time at Montclair, I was able to find out my passion. My passion excuse me, educational leadership. I had a wonderful principal, my first principal, who told me when I became a teacher, fourth grade teacher, he said, you know, you are a leader. And at Montclair University, I discovered that I had a passion for athletics and academics.
Hmm. Yeah, I want to get into your career in our next segment. I want to go all the way back to even before high school. Growing up for you, were you city? Were you suburbs? What are some of your memories of that time, even before, say, organized sports?
So I played recreation sports. So I was more so, I guess Hillside has a little bit of a mixture. Some people call it urban now, but it's to me it's suburban. It's a mix. If you had a mixture between urban and suburban, it's Hillside. So I was a recreational basketball player. I remember picking up my first shorts and my t-shirt. Started playing basketball at the age of 10 for Hillside Recreation Department. I played on the Knicks, and when I walked into the gymnasium, it was at Hurd Liquor School in Hillside. I was excited to see a group of girls. It was about 50 girls in the gym, stretching and shooting a basketball and um, about to see what team they were going to be selected on. At that time, I couldn't see. So as you see, I wear glasses. So I if I take off my glasses, I can't see at all. So I was like playing without glasses. And then I really told my parents, I need glasses. So they got me some goggles, sports Rex. But also had the chance to fall in love with the WNBA. I think, it was the second year, my first year playing basketball recreationally was the second year the WNBA was actually formed. So immediately fell in love with the New York Liberty. Teresa Weatherspoon was my all-time favorite player. Like I emulated her defensive style, her toughness, her grit. I just wanted to be Teaspoon when I actually met her as an adult. I was like, please, can I take a picture of you? And she also signed my varsity jacket in Hillside when
Oh,
I was
wow.
in Hillside High School. But I could really remember just, going to rec practice, playing against a group of girls. It wasn't a co-ed team. It was all girl dominated girls basketball rec program. And then we played summer league. So that was where my first love for sports happened.
Right. Yeah. Again, I'd love to take a deeper dive into that, but I'm going to jump back to your Rutgers experience as a student manager. That type of position, particularly at the D1 level, you had kind of a front row seat to a lot of things that I think come into play for an athletic director down the road. Organizational planning, structure. What are some of your memories of? And again, you did it at a high level. What's a memory that you can share with us from your managing days?
Two fond memories was waking up at 5:30 a.m. to get to practice to start at 6, or get to practice start at 5:30. So as a freshman, I couldn't have my, you're not supposed to have your car on campus, but if you were a part of athletics, you had a car. So I really begged my parents, please, can I have a car? They got me a car so I can get to practice on time. Rutgers is really large. So the campus I was on was Douglas College, go Douglas. The Livingston College or Livingston campus is where the practices were held. So that's like traveling from one town over to another town. It takes approximately like 20 minutes drive on a bus, maybe 30. And the bus at the time didn't start, right? So you had to get on like what they call the drunk bus. So having that car to get there on time, that early and having the equipment ready. I think that my fondest memory was working with my team of student managers to make sure everybody make sure everybody that practice was ready. So with that being said, you know, basketball's out, Coach Stringer's practice plans actually copied. Every coach have them. The clock is ready. You always had to have a ball in your hand at all times. You have to know exactly how many seconds for each drill. So you could not, you had to pay attention. And then my next fondest memory was actually winter break, staying in the gym for like about 8 hours. So, that was just like, wow, like this is college basketball.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Thanks for sharing those. Let's go and take our first break. We're going to come back with more, but our guest today is Sjocquelyn Winstead. She's the Director of Athletics at Columbia High School. That's in Maplewood, New Jersey. Like I said, we're coming back, so please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say before, probably one of the best equipment purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Of course, we use it for home games, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents loved the tools that Huddle provided. Go to huddle.com. Join the over 100 million users and fans. Find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to our visit with Sjocquelyn Winstead, the Director of Athletics at Columbia High School up in New Jersey. Sjocquelyn, you kind of took us on your travels from high school in New Jersey to Rutgers. Now, let's hear about your post-college journey. What were some of the stops that you had that have led you to your current position at Columbia?
Well, I had multiple stops on my educational journey. First, I was a substitute teacher. I substitute taught while I was a student at Rutgers University. So as soon as I earned the 60 credits, I was like, I'm going to teach because I was passionate. I'm passionate about education. Following my substitute teaching experience, I was doing the time 2009 where it was our recession and there weren't any teaching jobs available. So I took any job possible, and that was being a paraprofessional. I had the chance to support a student who was visually impaired, and that was a full-time job, which was great. Being able to understand how people with special needs and how to interact. My challenge was to make sure that the student was very active in her PE classes. So I was able to create lessons. Another stop was being a fourth grade teacher. I desired to be a high school history teacher, but there was a different pathway. So being a fourth grade teacher was what I did for some time. And then because my principal, Mr. Platt, he was very supportive about my leadership. He encouraged me while I was in teaching fourth grade to go on and pursue education leadership. So after graduating, I was an assistant principal. And why did I become assistant principal for 6 years for Newark Board Education? It's because being a woman in athletics is very challenging. There weren't any jobs open for women in athletics. I'm sorry, not just women, but just weren't any jobs open for athletic directors. And then it's predominantly a male career, so it's really hard to get into athletics. So while I was studying at Montclair, I made sure I completed two internships, an athletic director internship and a principal internship. So I just wanted to take the path to get me to education leadership, which was assistant principal for Newark Public Schools. And I also, my next stop was Westside High School as athletic director before I got
That's
to Columbia High School.
right. That's, pretty impressive, landing a principal position, that
Assistant,
early in your
assistant
career.
principal,
Pardon me?
assistant principal, assistant.
Assistant principal position. Still early in your career. Um, did you always have, your eye on, the athletic director position down the road? You just knew in your heart that that's what you were going to be, or did your time as an assistant principal did that strengthen your resolve to be an AD, or did you think, well, maybe I can be an AP?
Well, I always had a desire to be athletic director. At the age 22 is when I became a head coach for my high school girls varsity basketball team. So I was a 22-year-old varsity coach for Hillside High School. And while I was pursuing, coaching, I realized that, I have some valuable leadership skills. So I paid attention to my athletic director, who was a woman for Hillside High School, and watched what she did. And as when she retired, we had a changeover in leadership. And I was just like, I really want to pursue being an athletic director. So while I was a head coach and teacher, I just was like, I can do this. I was adamant about um, athletic, building school culture.
Yeah,
Yep.
again, I just love that determination. I remember when I graduated from college, there were no jobs, but I was able to substitute. And I did that for almost 2 years. But I knew I was going to be a teacher. It wasn't, I'm going to go into sales or something like that. You mentioned becoming a head coach also at a young age. There's an expression I think athletic directors like to toss about in describing young coaches, certainly applied to me. The expression is you don't know what you don't know. Did you, looking back, what were some things that you found out that you didn't know about coaching when you became a head coach?
Well, what did I not know about coaching? That's a lot of things, right? But I had good coaches, right? So being underneath Coach Stringer, Jolette Law, Chelsea Newton, being around Tasha Pointer, being around that collegiate world. Michelle Edwards was our director of operations. So being around also Raheem Graham, he was my high school coach. I dreamed of being a coach, right? I always so what I didn't know when I got there, I didn't know that you have to have a balance of they still got to have fun. I was very strict, stern, a no nonsense type of person. I believed in discipline, desire, determination. So I found a way to connect. Um, I also didn't. My strength was defense, so I had to really like study offense. I had to break down bite-sized lesson plans. So I really became a teacher of the game. Like I believe that coaches are teachers. I believe that coaching is an extension of the classroom. So I really had to break down film. I know we have Huddle now, but back then, watching film over and over again to bite size and trying to teach young minds to be a student of the game. So I was learning every day. I just desired to be a coach. So I was like a sponge. I went to different practices like clinics with B-ball life coach Q and just watched people coach to be a better coach.
Yeah. No, that's such a great point. You mentioned huddle. Um, I remember, you as a young coach, what do? You coach the way that you were coached most often. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not so good. But with video, I remember as a college football player, watching, the entire game. It wasn't even broken down into segments for our position, and just really not appreciating it. But what did I do as a head coach for football? I showed the team the entire game, and then huddle finally came around, and we were able to just cut that down into maybe 10 or 12 plays per kid, and you can just send it literally to their laptop, and they can watch it. So that's a great example of learning, finding out what you really know. Um, Looking at, we're going to talk about Columbia in our next segment, but how did that job um, materialize for you? Did you reach out to them? Did they contact you? How did you end up at Columbia High School?
Well, I was the athletic director at Westside High School, and I saw the posting for Columbia High School towards the end of the year. I know that Columbia High School offers more sports. I look at it as comparison to Westside High School compared to Columbia High School in New Jersey. Um, Columbia is considered like a larger population, more with a larger population. It's a group five football school. I was at a group three football school. We're group four in basketball. So having a larger population of various sports, it's a job that I felt like I can take on a challenge to be involved in. The school I came from, we certain things we didn't have like a facility. So being able to have a football facility, just different advantages. One also, again, I being in urban, I was in an urban district. Now I'm in a suburban district. So just wanted to push myself to new personal goals, see how we're able to execute my leadership skills.
Okay.
So I
Well,
applied. In answer your question, I actually applied and interviewed for the job.
we'll let you continue with that in our next segment. Once again, our guest is Sjocquelyn Winstead. She's the director of athletics at Columbia High School in New Jersey. Let's take that break. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to thank our good friends at Home Campus. Scheduling, rosters, results, facility management. Home Campus does all of this and more, does it better, does it faster than other platforms. Also, their athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. To find out more, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We want to say thanks to Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative is taking it to a new level. Beacon Creative is a content creation service where they're going to take your stories, your data, your students, and come up with compelling narratives that you can then upload to your school's social media digital platforms. You really have to see it to believe it. I want you to email John Townsend, and you can do that at John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Check out Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. It's a winning team. We also want to thank our friends at Hometown. Hometown continues to be a game changer with their solutions that include things like, well, digital ticketing, of course. They're the number one digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. But how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising, and a whole lot more? Whether you're an athletic director, a principal, even a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. Go to hometown.com for more information. And as always, don't forget to mention you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Sjocquelyn, you took us on your journey that brought you to Columbia High School. Now let's take a deep dive into all things Cougars. Okay? Tell us a little bit about the school, the programs that you offer, and some things that you feel make Columbia High School a special place.
Well, Columbia High School is the oldest high school in New Jersey. So why it's the name itself is a special place. I mean, when you walk around the building, you can see the beautiful artwork within the sculptures, and it just has like this nice look. I mean, the front of the front edifice of the building is in encyclopedias. I mean, that's just it just really looks nice. Um, the school has a roughly, close to 2,000 students. It's known for its uh, long history of art from all different type of artists, vocal. Lauren Hill went to school here from actress. So from an athletic standpoint, it's also known for having a top-notch track program. At the time, girls basketball was an era when girls basketball was outstanding. Um, the soccer program was for years, boys soccer was magnificent. So it was approximately 25 sports this year. Last year, I introduced girls flag football in the state of New Jersey. We had it for 5 years. This is the sixth year. It hasn't been voted as a sanctioned sport yet. It's still a pilot sport. Next year will be sanctioned. So having still within that trial and error time, we can we had a girls flag football team. We had two levels. That was really great. What else about another initiative I'm bringing is middle school sports. So Columbia again is it's known for having again a top-notch track program from winning number of state championships. But our we areas of improvement will be um, areas of improvement for us are include Sorry. Sorry about that. Area improvements include our football program. So we are starting off with a middle school football team. That's one of the initiatives that I'm bringing. We are currently trying to promote a revitalization of one of our areas. So bringing our softball team home. Our softball team won a state championship. Not last year, but the year before last. They're dynamite, um, but they're off campus. So we are trying to promote turf on one of our fields because we have a population of 25 sports with various levels for, almost every level for each sport, but we are short in our field space. So last year we've been promoting why we need turf. I've been sharing with the pop of the community how turf is not harmful to our environment and how it will help with the lack of field space. So that's another initiative that we are working on at Columbia. And what are we proud of is just that Cougar Raw. I mean, the athletes are committed, they're dedicated. Parent participation is um, super awesome. And, our football team, we won three home games this year. You would think we won a championship having almost 1,000 students at the game supporting. So it's just nice to be in this environment.
Oh wow, great stuff! Great, brushstrokes of sharing that program. You talked about adding teams, adding programs is always it can be tricky. And you mentioned flag football. Um, what were some considerations that you looked at? Obviously, you want to add these sports, you want to create opportunities, particularly for girls, because they have been underrepresented, of course, over the years. But how did you? What were some things that you did to make sure you knew that Columbia was going to be able to support a flag football program?
So I surveyed the students. It was a interest. When I first came in, I surveyed students for girls flag football, for bowling, along with esports to see what the interests were at the time. And girls flag football was high interest. That's number one. So I wanted to find out if, is it a need here? Um, in addition, from a budgetary standpoint, we schedule games locally, right? So we have two areas where we can practice. So it wouldn't have really conflicted with our practice, but we need to practice on turf. We practice on grass. We were able you know, just for now, until we got our jerseys. But now we have jerseys, so we just had to, utilize some of the boys' football equipment for a second. But we were able to get everything we needed for girls' flag football. So I looked into the budget thoroughly to see, okay, what equipment do we need, and then I was able to fund it. So overall, it was just because of the interest. My principal and superintendent was greatly supportive of it as well, and that's how that initiative took place.
Now, I just thought of a question. At the last school I was at before I retired, we didn't have, and girls flag football is huge in Florida. We just didn't have it at our school. We were a private school. We had girls lacrosse along with track and softball and the other traditional spring sports. Here's my question, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. For flag football, is it the same football that the boys use for tackle football, or is it a different one, different
It's
size?
different. It's
Yeah.
different size. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and that makes sense. Boy, I've seen some flag football games here in Florida, and boy, those girls, they really sling that ball. They look like NFL quarterbacks. And you mentioned this earlier. Colleges are really ramping up their flag football opportunities with not just programs, but also scholarship opportunities.
Yes. So my new head football coach just completed his first year here did a great job by developing a list of all of the football programs in the state in the country who has scholarships. So he shared that list with the girls flag football coach. So they're working together. I mean, I like the collaboration as well between there's also some of the girls who play basketball play girls flag football. So we're trying to really develop like a three sport athlete here. Um, so yes, we are excited to send our girls on to play on a collegiate level, and because the team was so young, so we are returning everyone except for one senior,
Oh, wow. That's great.
and then we had about 40 between 35 to 40 girls who were committed.
Oh, that's tremendous. Great numbers for a program that's still in their first couple of years. Uh, Sjocquelyn, we're going to do this at the end of the podcast, but if one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more about, starting programs, how you run things at Columbia, or just add you to their network, what's the best way our listeners can connect with Sjocquelyn Winstead?
Uh, Jake, you making me laugh because the way you're doing a great job saying my name is Jacqueline. You're doing a great job. But how can you reach out to me? You can reach out to me through Instagram. I'm on Winstead.ad is my Instagram. So that's WINSTEAD dot AD. You can also find my school email on our school website, Columbia High School. Drop down athletics. You'll see my information there. So I communicate as quick as possible, but because the number of responsibilities that we do have to complete during a day, I might not get to you soon. But I'm always willing to ask questions. I mean, provide support. I'm a plethora of knowledge. That's what I tell people.
Well, again, we'll put that in the show notes. We'll also do it again at the end of the podcast. Let's go and take another quick break. I know that's shocking to our regular listeners, but we are going to come back with more. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank our good friends at Gipper for their support of the Educational AD Podcast. Go to Gipper.com. Let their team help you become a social media marketing guru. Gipper's used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college athletic programs. It's professional graphic design made easy. Your teams, your coaches, your programs doing great work. Don't let it go unnoticed. Let the team at Gipper help you use social media posts, newsletters, and more to promote everything good about your program. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others, and it was a great experience. And while they were earning their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to say thanks to our newest sponsor, Booster Hub, the #1 software for booster clubs. You need boosters that can deliver results, not headaches. And if you've got a weak system or you have a lot of booster volunteer turnover, that can leave you vulnerable. But Booster Hub takes care of that. Booster Hub is going to handle your communication, your volunteer scheduling. They're going to take care of sponsorship fees, meal fees, concession sales. How about online spiritware sales? And by taking care of all of that, they're going to allow your boosters more time to support you, not just as boosters, but as fans. And isn't that what you want? Go to boosterhub.com for more information. That's boosterhub.com. And guess what? Don't forget to mention you heard about it on the podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Once again, our guest is Sjocquelyn Winstead. She's the Director of Athletics at Columbia High School, Maplewood, New Jersey. Sjocquelyn, I mentioned that you and I met at the NADC in an LTI course, and I think it's important to share where we're at with our journeys with not just the national organization, but with the state association as well. So how did you first get involved with, say, the New Jersey Association, and how did you get involved with NIAAA?
Okay. So with the New Jersey Association, I sit on the NJSIA executive committee as an at-large member. I am very grateful and thankful for the opportunity. I was selected by our director, Colleen, who reached out to me and asked me would I accept this position. I gladly said yes. And what makes it so dear to my heart, and I was actually a NJSIA, a student athlete. I've received the award for our school. So every year, one student is selected. The student athlete is selected to receive that award. So I was the 2005 NJSIA recipient. So it's like a full circle being able to be a student at Hillside High School to receive that award and now be a part of the executive committees looking at policies that impact over thousands of athletes who participate in the state of New Jersey. My journey so far is that I'm aiming to complete my CMM, right? Sorry, CAA, excuse me. I will be aiming to take the test in March. I have one more class left to complete. So I'm excited to take the test to get those extra letters by my name. But how did I learn about the NIAA? Well, when I was in studying at Montclair State University, I was always looking at different things because pursued my internship as athletic director. So I wanted to see what are some things that athletic directors have to do. So that was my first time I was like actually introduced. And then my conference, I'm a part of the Super S's conference. It supports getting a CAA. I'm in Essex County. As a athletic director at Essex County. I co-chair for the girls basketball tournament. I also am a part of the Super Football Conference, who also promotes, workshops and professional development. I am the secretary for the girls flag football committee. So being around a group of athletic directors who already have their CA, who promotes, just empowering yourself, like continuing your education, evolving over time, growing. You never can stop learning. There's not something you can learn something every day.
Well, I don't want to get a head start into our final segment, which is the toolbox segment, but you just listed about 4 or 5 tremendous tools, and one of them is just getting involved. You talked about your involvement with the various organizations, serving on boards and committees. You talked about being a lifelong learner, taking the LTI courses. Let's go and talk about that. As you have been completing those courses to allow you to sit for your CAA exam, what are some of your thoughts? Do one course in particular stick out as wow, I didn't know that this was something we had to do, or hey, this is really cool, I want to bring it back to our school? What are some of your thoughts about the coursework so far?
Well, so far I've taken back the middle school sports paradigm. So being able to create that framework and know that you have to create it in small segments. So prior to taking the course, I presented why we need middle school sports, and I did a deep analysis of the middle school sport teams within our county, neighboring, and within the neighbor areas, but understanding how to break it down and make it sustainable. So something that can last. I think that I was able to apply it right away. So I'm looking forward to taking those skills from that course. But the one that is mind blowing is the Title IX course. I think that we oftentimes really don't know that we can't just make decisions as athletic director. It has to be decisions that are backed by something, right? It has to be supportive. It has to be quantitative or qualitative decisions. It has to be fair, right? So looking at that playing fair framework to assess our current athletic department is something that I'm doing right away. And many people, wonder why I'm providing people with the why. Like, why do we have to do this for girls? Why this has to be fair here and so forth. Like, so I think those two are my highlights so far that I'm really enjoying and using right the tools from those courses right away.
Oh no, great examples too. And again, we talk about Title IX. As an AD, you're not Title IX compliant because you're worried about getting a violation. You're Title IX compliant because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
Supporting all of our teams. Boys, girls, varsity, JV. They're wearing our uniforms out there. They're representing the school. Hey, let's make sure that we're supporting them to the best of our abilities. Great stuff. Good examples. This has been a lot of fun. I think we connected well at the NADC. It's been great talking to you again, but we're not done yet. We always wrap up with our AD Toolbox segment. Now, you certainly know your way around the world of athletics, but we're going to take our final break, hear from Athletic Surveys who sponsor this segment. When we come back, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their first job, but I'm only going to let you put 3 tools in the toolbox.
Okay.
So let's take that final break, and when we come back, we're going to see what Sjocquelyn Winstead puts in her new athletic director toolbox. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys for sponsoring the AD Toolbox segment of our podcast. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for student athletes, for coaches. We even used it for parents. And the information that would come back on these surveys was incredibly valuable. And most of the time, it was over the top positive. And it'll be the same for you. We also got to hear from our squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allowed us to hear their concerns, typically address them before they turned into something big. But getting back to that positive data, it was so valuable, particularly when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, sometimes with your principal, and even with your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting today with Sjocquelyn Winstead from Columbia High School. Tremendous background as a leader, as a coach, but right now I'm going to challenge her to send out a brand new athletic director on their first job, but I'm only going to let her put 3 items in the toolbox. So, Sjocquelyn, what 3 tools are going to go into your new athletic director toolbox?
Okay. So it's first year athletic director, and they are in their office. Um, the first thing I want to say is that they need to connect to another athletic director. That's the first tool. Because you should have another athletic director phone number on speed dial or the administrative assistant number on speed dial so you can use them as a um, you can use them for support, right? To help troubleshoot certain things. So you need to have a phone or access to a computer to communicate with that athletic director. Now, not every second of the day, but make a list of things that you are confused about or unsure about so you can ask, so you can utilize that time in a succinct moment. I mean, right? Like, because they have to complete their work too. So you don't want to waste their time. The second toolbox is get used to Google Drive or the Google Suite. We are now in a Google era, especially educate in education. So the tools that I use within Google consistently are Forms and Google Sheets. Google Forms allow me to quickly survey students, get responses back. It allows me to organize my all my initiatives. Google Sheets, I can share information with it. I can gather data quickly for reports and make informed decisions that are data driven. And then my last tool I want to say is to go out to a game, go outside, don't stay in your office. Go greet, meet parents, say hello. I know some people may run away and say, "No, I don't want to talk," but you need to go and show your face. I'm in a large school with 25 sports in various levels, but I like to go outside and introduce myself to the parents, to the players, go to a game. So, and I noticed as he said three, but the bonus is get some sleep. So have a health life, sleep and eat, right? Those are the two important things, healthy lifestyle. So get some sleep, make sure you have some food, hydrate, so you can have the energy for the next day.
Well, I love them all, and in true AD fashion, you snuck in that fourth one, so that's totally fine. Anytime somebody talks about having that work-life balance, get sleep and eat, I'm all for it. Your very first one, connect with other ADs. We talk about the importance. It's just vital that you begin building that network right away. So that's a great one. The tech aspect, the Google Suite, whether it's Google Sheets or Forms, find that way to incorporate tech into your program. And then, that last one, being seen, going to games. Kids know who comes to those games. Parents know who comes to the games. Get out there, be visible, interact with people. Don't just sit up at the top of the bleachers and don't say anything. Talk to your stakeholders, get involved. Make sure that you obviously have passion for the job. If you're an athletic director, make sure those parents and those stakeholders know and can feel the passion that you have. Great tools. One more time, if somebody wants to connect with you, what's the best way that they can reach out and add Sjocquelyn Winstead to their network?
So you can call me Jacques for short. That's number one. And I know people might be a little bit like, why is she saying this? Because the S throws people off. My mother uniquely put an S in front of my name, but I'm Sjocquelyn Winstead. You can reach out to me through Instagram at Winstead.ad. So that's WINSTEAD. I'm always winning. .ad. And you can email me. My email address is very long, but it's posted on Columbia High School's website underneath the athletic tab. So you'll see my information there. And I'm more than welcome the opportunity to support people. And just Jake, I just want to let you know, I didn't probably say this. I am the first woman athletic director for Columbia High School, the oldest high school in the state of New Jersey. First Black American here as well. So listen, I love this position. I love giving back to people. I love being a trailblazer, so I can show you how that's done.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Sjocquelyn. And
Yes, you said it right.
I think I said it six different ways, but Sjocquelyn, it's been a joy to have you on the podcast. Again, it was great to reconnect with you after the NADC. All the best moving forward into 2026, and we're definitely going to have to bring you back on the podcast for an update.
All right. Thank you.
For listeners, we want to remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this just about every day, trying to share stories and best practices. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.